Do you want to be able to improvise on piano like this? I'm going to show you my triple C method for improvising on piano like I just did. Hi, I'm Vincent from Better Chords Academy, and I've been studying classical piano for over 20 years now. And I've always wanted to improvise, but nobody was really able to teach me how to do this. That's why 10 years ago I started this channel and spent hundreds of hours learning songs, improvising and figuring out what works and what doesn't until I came up with this method that I'm going to show you right now. And by the way, if you learned something today, then I have a gift for you. You can now watch my course on chords and improvisation for free. The link is under this video. Are you ready? Let's begin. So for this lesson, we're in the key of C major. That means we play all the white notes on the keyboard. Now when improvising in this style, it's really helpful to use a chord progression. A chord progression simply means we have a series of chords that we repeat over and over. And once you get comfortable with a progression, you can start to add new chords and improvise with the chords you're playing and come up with progressions of your own. So in the improvisation from the intro, I was using A minor, F, C, and G. So first, let's play all of the chords in root position. That means they look sort of like a snowman. So we start out with A minor in the right hand, and let's play an A in the left hand and also add the octave in the pinky to make it sound a bit fuller. The next chord is F major. Shift everything down 2 white keys. Then we go all the way down to C major, and then we go up to G major. Now, when you play this, already practice to use the pedal on your keyboard, if you have one, because that means we just have our hands free to go to the next chord and the sound will still be there, which makes it sound a bit nicer. Now, that was called root position. There are also 2 inversions for each chord. Because we have 3 notes, that means we have a total of 3 ways to arrange them, because every note can be the bottom, middle, or top note. So starting from A minor, we can, for example, take this bottom note and move it up there. That's first inversion. We can do the process again and we end up in second inversion. One way I like to memorize these is if you look at first and second inversion, you can see for first, there's 1 note at the top. So first, 1, we have the 1 lonely note at the top. For second inversion, we have the 2, so 2 notes grouped together at the top. Now practice these inversions for all the chords of our progression. Next, F major. Same thing applies. Here you can again take the bottom note, shift it up. Next, C major. And G major. When practicing the inversions like this, I like to do the following trick. For example, starting from G major, instead of aiming for this top note and trying to find this really quickly, when you play the root position chord, look at the top 2 notes, and those 2 are going to be the first 2 bottom notes of the next chord you're going to play. So look at these 2 notes and aim for them with your thumb and second finger. And you can see the pinky is already naturally where it needs to be. So we don't even have to go looking for that top note. if we just orient ourselves with these first two bottom notes. Again, the same thing. Take these two notes, aim for them with your first and third finger, and the pinky is already where it's supposed to be. So let's now connect the chords and inversions to create melodies in our playing. Because improvisation is not just playing chords from a progression, we actually want to improvise melodies. So let's start with A minor in second inversion. Remember, second, two notes grouped together at the top. Add the left hand as well. Then we move down to F major in second inversion as well. So just shift everything by two wide notes. Then again, C major in second inversion. And then we end up at G major in first inversion. Now, to connect the notes, we'll use the top notes of each chord and play a melody going from this one to the top note of the next chord. So a very simple way to do this, as you can see in the sheet music above, we start here, then we play 1, 2, next chord. And now just do the same process. Connecting note, connecting note. And this time we're going up. And up again. To land back at A minor. So this is where the magic happens, because we've just taken some very simple chords from a very simple progression and used very simple inversions, and suddenly we have something that could already be a song. Now there's different options for playing these connections. So we start off the top note of A minor in second, which is C, and then we immediately move down to B, and then to A. And then for F, we're again at the A. So you can see we're moving down immediately, and then this note gets played twice. Now we could also switch it around. For example, start on the C, so play this note twice. And then we're not playing this A twice. So that's two options for connecting these two chords already. Or the second one. And also from the last chord of G major going up. You can tell here we're not playing any notes twice because we have a total of 4 notes to cover. So these two connection notes in here add up quite nicely. Now there's also different options. You can really get creative with this once you master this basic connection exercise. For example, you can start from the note above and play more connection notes. You can even go like this, so what I did here was go down, up, and then back down. So as a rule of thumb, you can always orient yourselves to play 2 or maybe 4 connecting notes. That always adds up quite nicely. Now here's an exercise for you. Pick a different inversion to start and end on, and then find a way to connect the top notes to create a melody. So just one more example, because I don't want to take all of the fun of improvising away from you. Let's say if we start on A minor in root position and we want to go to F major in first. So you can tell the top note is moving up by 1. Now what can we do here? As I mentioned, we can, for example, start on a note even below the top note, meaning we go to D, And then we end up quite nicely on the F. So one more time. And for example, go to C major in second with a little alternating connection. So once you find a connection for the chords of this progression, repeat it throughout the progression, so loop it a couple of times to really get comfortable. Now, improvisation comes from building a repertoire or a mental collection of these connections and then combining them. Now we're at our third and final step of comping. The term comping comes from jazz, and the term probably originated from accompaniment or possibly also to complement, and it means playing a rhythm to support improvisation. So let's now get into a groove of 4/4, meaning we count 4 beats for each chord. So you can see up top at the notation there's now a time signature in front, the 4/4. That means we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, if we apply our connection from before. So we have the chord for 2 beats and then connecting notes for 2 beats. And the left hand is held throughout the entirety of the 4 beats of 1 bar. So each chord, 1 bar equals 4 beats. And right now we have 2 beats chord and then 2 beats on 3, 4, the connecting notes. Now, one thing you can also do is play more connecting notes on more beats. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we have the chord for only 1 beat, and then we start above, and then we have our 2 connecting notes here. So that's one more option you could do. So first, practice our progression from before and really try to stick to the timing and the rhythm. So let's play it together with me a couple of times. So let's start in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Go up. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. By the way, at the end of this lesson, I have a full backing track of this progression for you if you only want to try and play around with a couple of these inversions and find connecting notes. So you can scroll to the end of this video and play along to the backing track if you want to. So let's now add a simple left hand pattern. For example, we can add the 5th in between our octave. Now, to get the 5th, we simply count up 5 notes from the bottom note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, only white notes for this progression. So we have our octave from before and the 5th in between. And now we can simply go up and back down. Again, we have 4 beats right now for our bar of 4/4. So if we play the first chord of A minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we were to add the connecting notes in there, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can apply this pattern to the entire progression. So the next chord is F major. Again, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're just starting out improvising like this, it's an amazing pattern to build your coordination and to start building that repertoire, that mental collection of patterns, of inversions and their connections, which all builds up to being able to improvise freely. So practice this pattern throughout the entire progression. And then you can, for example, if you got this left hand pattern down again, experiment with the inversions or connections. Another pattern that I really like is this rhythmic pattern, where we play the first note a bit longer and then a short note in between on the fifth, and then we end up top. So we would count 1, 2, 3, 4. So one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one starts to sound really good once you speed it up a bit. For the end, I'm going to give you 2 arpeggio patterns which sound really nice, but for those we first have to divide our count of 4, so the 4 beats, into 8. So we double the number of beats that we have in a bar, and now we can play not only 4 notes, but 8 notes in the left hand. So for the first arpeggio pattern, we first alternate between the bottom 2 and then the top 2 notes. So we have a total of 8 beats, and the right hand can still, of course, play those 4 beats above. And so on. And then the final pattern, which is a really nice flowing arpeggio pattern. So if you're a bit more advanced and you've been waiting for a challenge the entire video, then here you go. We do this little trick where we cross over our thumb and then go back down. So if you learned something in this lesson, then click like on this video and subscribe to my channel. It's the fast and free way to support me. And also don't forget to click the link in the video description or the pinned comment to check out the free courses on chords and improvisation, where I go into this with much more detail. And I'll see you guys again in the next lesson. So for the end, let me give you a backing track over the original progression so you can just practice your right hand inversions and connections without having to worry about keeping the time or playing the left hand patterns. So let's start in 1, 2, 3, 4.